Hi guys, how are you doing? Good evening. I hope you had a fantastic day. Happy Independence Day to those of us who are Nigerians. Please, I need to. Hi, Faithful. I can see Faithful is here. Hi, Faithful. Please just say hello to me in the comments if you're here. Um, I'd really like to know those of us that are currently online. I've been here since past 8. I was just waiting for you guys to join. And please do me a favor, share the link to this live on your status and tell people to join because a lot of people, need this class. Hear people say now and again that they want to learn how to write, they want to learn storytelling and all of that. And then they need someone to teach them or they just need to hear it from the right place. So share the link, share the link to someone, share it to a friend, share it on your status, share it, buzz those that's supposed to be here as well. Hi, Precious. Hi, Precious. I can see Precious Njoku. Hi, how are you doing? I hope you had a great day. So, so I'm just gonna give us like a few minutes to share on our status and to also remind our friends that we have a live class right now. And also, I want everybody on this call to say hello. So I'm waiting. And please do me a favor. Can you tell me where you're streaming from? So where exactly are you streaming from? Are you in Abuja, Nigeria? Are you outside the country? Are you here? Are you in Lagos? Are you in the north? Just tell me where you are. I'm checking my phone because I want to be sure that I want to be sure that the stream is live. So I'll be checking my phone now and again just to be sure that there's no glitch. Hi, Tenny T Third. I hope I pronounced that well. Hi, it's good to have you here. I hope you had a great day too. Yes, happy independence. I'm guessing Faithful is in Nigerian, so that's why he or she's wishing me a happy independence rather. So I mean, tell me, where are you guys streaming from? I want to do like a mini survey because I've been having this thought of having like a physical meetup, but I want to know where we are at because we're a community, and at some point we would have to meet. So if we would have meetings, we could have meetings across the country and even across the continent or outside the country. I mean, if our community enlarges to that point, we would have to create avenues for us to meet. So I'd like to know where we're reaching me from. So tell me, where are you streaming from? Faithful, where are you streaming from? Precious, where are you streaming from? Tenny, where are you streaming from? Tell me. Okay, Precious is from Lagos. My fellow Lagosian. Ah, I hope the flood is not affecting your area because it's been wonderful these past few days. Tenny is also streaming from Lagos, Nigeria. Interesting. I hope the flooding is not affecting you. Okay, Faithful is streaming from Abuja. Nice, nice. Yeah, the ones chilling with the presidency. Okay, you're the ones chilling with the presidency. So if you're just joining us, in the comment section, I'm trying to know where we're streaming from. So just tell me where you're streaming from if you're just joining us. I'd really love to know. Faithful is streaming from Abuja. No, there's no one from the east. I thought we had guys from the east here. Anyways, maybe they'll join us later on the call. Sharon Vera. Sharon Vera says she's streaming from Ireland. Hi, Sharon. Good to have you here. See, I told you guys that our community is quite large. All right. Who else? Okay, so I'm going to kickstart like right now, and I'm going to like um wait for other people, or rather, I'm not going to wait for other people. I'll just start, and then when they join, they would meet us wherever we are at, because we have just an hour on this call, and I want us to make the best use of it. Um, by the way, if you're not aware, we officially launched our mentorship community last month. Yes, we officially launched, and it has been amazing. To be honest, it has been amazing for those that are that are that are beneficiaries of the mentorship community. I don't think they are here yet, but if you are here, you can just say something. Tell me how it has been just in the month of September. Like, September was a full month. Oh my God. September was a full month. We learned from log lines to characterization to character building to story development to plot to story structure and to script formatting just in 1 month. This is this is like a whole film school's course that we compressed for you in a month. Like, it's so beautiful. And I think I especially love that, every writer that came on board, especially this last month, they were very hungry to learn. We've had tasks, you know, we have weekly tasks. I've shared my script with them. We've talked about movies. We've done a lot in this 1 month. So, and this October is even fuller, you guys. So one thing about me is I like to under promise and over deliver. That's how I work. So it means that whatever I'm telling you I'm going to do for you, there's a high chance that I will do much more. So October is a fuller month. I mean, with my writers, those in the mentorship community, they've learned how to write dialogues, script formatting, and it's just been beautiful. So I especially I love growth. So when I see some people growing, like, it's beautiful to me. It's one of I feel like it's one of the most beautiful things to watch. And let me tell you, people watch out for these guys. If you've not joined our mentorship community, this is your chance. This is your chance. In case you are worried that, oh, I've missed out on September, don't worry. All the videos are recorded, so you can always watch the videos. You can always restream them, and you will learn, and you will get access to everything that you missed. But see, this October, I'm bringing external mentors. What that means is I'm not the only one teaching. I'm not the only one teaching this October. Hmm, I'm bringing big people for you. People that I'm learning from, I'm bringing them to come and teach you guys. But that's by the way. Um, we need to go into today's class. I want us to go into today's class. Please, I'm going to say a short prayer. I hope you guys don't mind, but I'd like to say a short prayer and then I begin. Right. Father, I thank you for today. Thank you because you're good and faithful. Father, we pray that as we start this class, you start with us. I pray that everyone who stays here is impacted. We learn and we get better. We become better writers, we become storytellers to the glory of your name. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's dive right in. So, our focus for today is story is king. That's our focus. Story is king. And I'm sure that a good number of us have probably heard people say it, story is king, story is king. What does that even mean? What does it even mean when you say story is king? I'm going to come from this perspective. So I want you people to think of any story or any film. By story, it could be a story you've read or a film you've watched. And I want you to tell me what, like, maybe it's something you even watched when you were 5 years old or when you were 10 years old or something you even watched this year. I want you to tell me why do you think you remember that story? Just think about it. Just think, like, why exactly do you remember that story? Because I don't think a lot of people realize how powerful story is. Thankfully, we are in a creative economy right now, so a lot of people's eyes have been opened to the power of stories. I mean, when I was growing up, um there are certain adverts that I look forward to. Why? Those adverts were stories. I remember there was this Indomie advert where there was this Mama do good, oh, she do good. I can remember that story. There's Skybank is always there. The way the entire advert panned out, I can remember. There's, I don't know, a lot. There's Pick Milk, Papilo. I know say one day you will make us proud. If you can't relate to what I'm saying, I don't know. Sorry. I like to say I'm a zillennial. I'm a mixture of a millennial and a Gen Z. So I know a little bit of the old OG before IG and then actual IG life. But my point is, stories are important. And I want to put it to you. There's a story that you have as a writer, there's a story that you have, and you're thinking, this story maybe is not good enough. I'm here to tell you, your story is good enough. Put it in the comments. I want to see it. Say it in the comments. Say, my story is good enough. Type it in the comment. Type it in the comment. Say, my story is good enough. I'm waiting for you guys. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Type it right there in the comments. My story, amazing. Ivy says my story. Yes, your story is good enough. Stop second guessing it. Stop saying maybe, maybe not. Sharavera, yes, yes. Your story is good enough to be told. Very, very important. That's your truth. Your story is good enough. Don't allow anybody lie to you or tell you, this story is nothing. I remember one time I shared a story I did with somebody, and the person said that story was whack, and I felt discouraged. But do you know that I shared that same story with somebody else and then they loved it? So your story is good enough. Don't allow anything, or even yourself. I think many times for us writers, it's not even the external criticism that is the issue. It's the one that's happening in our mind. That's the problem. You keep second guessing and overthinking it. At the end of the day, you don't post that story. You don't even type it. You don't even write it. You keep wondering. You keep trying to perfect your story. Nah, you don't want to be in that zone. Faithful says she can relate. Please, if you're in that zone, please, you have to step out of it. Your story is good enough, and it is good enough to be told. And there's something I always say, they're not bad stories. They're not bad stories. What we have most of the time, we just have imperfectly told stories. Somebody can take a seemingly bad story and rewrite it and you will love it. I mean, that's one of my jobs as a story consultant. In fact, I'm currently doing something like that. Somebody wrote a script or a story. The story is it's a good story, but they didn't tell it well. So I am rewriting the story for them because the story itself is good. It's good enough to be told. It just needs to be told the right way. So, and don't no matter how beautiful or how excellent you are as a writer, it doesn't mean that your stories will always be perfect. That is why perfection is not something you should want to attain. Instead, you should strive for excellence, because if your story is excellent, even when there are loopholes, we still want to watch your story. We still want to, see your story. I'm sorry to, I'm not I'm sorry to say, I love Bruce Lee. By Bruce Lee, I'm calling Auntie Kemi Adetiba Bruce Lee. She's the Bruce Lee of visuals, right? I love Auntie Kemi's stories so much. But if you are a good writer or a good storyteller, you will know that Auntie Kemi's stories are excellent. But it doesn't mean that they are perfect. Do you understand me? So they are excellently told stories, and that is why you want to watch them. If it comes to loopholes, of course you will spot a good number of loopholes. But guess what? Some people will still rewatch the story, because at the end of the day, you want your story to have rewatch value. There are some books that you have read, you cannot even count the number of times you have read them. Is it because those books are perfect? No, it's not because they're perfect. It's just because they have rewatch value. They were well told. And the person that wrote the story believed that the story was good enough to be told, and they wrote it. So whether you're writing a story, or you're writing a script for an advert, or you're writing a script, excuse me, I want you to know that the story is good enough to be told, and your goal should be to write that story excellently. Because story is king. Story is what keeps your audience looped in the message. When you want to pass a message across, you put it in a story, because everybody remember the story. and it is the story that will make the message resonate in their mind or in their hearts. So you want to be where the story is. You want, I like to say that story is king, writer is queen. So the story is your king, but you as the queen, you're supporting the story, you're supporting the king. Without you, the king cannot fully rule in his kingdom. So you are important, your story is important, and you that you are telling the story, you are also important. Don't self-sabotage. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by just keeping some people, but some people say something, say, ah, but there are already a lot of writers now, and there are already a lot of storytellers, and there are already a lot of these. Ah, excuse me. Excuse me. Do you know how many supermarkets we have in just Lagos? I mean, I live in Lagos. Do you know how many supermarkets we already have in Lagos? Yet, almost every week, I see a new supermarket being opened, and I'm like, wow. Why don't the supermarket say, ah, but there are already plenty supermarkets in Lagos. Let's not open another supermarket. They will open. In fact, where I live currently, within this 1 year, I've seen at least five new supermarkets open. One still opened. Was it last month? And I was like, yo, these guys are not playing. Then you, you that you have the world at your disposal, because you actually do have the world at your disposal. As a writer, you can be in Nigeria and write for somebody over there in the US. You can be in the US and write for somebody in Australia. You now you now hold your gift just because you feel like there are a lot of storytellers out there. In fact, I always say, okay, let's even assume that indeed we have a lot of storytellers, a lot of script writers. You just count. How many do you know? Are they up to 200? The ones you know personally? Probably not. So you don't know up to 200 storytellers or 200 writers. And we live in a world of 7 billion people. And you feel like that 200 is too much. No, no. So don't self sabotage yourself. Your story is good enough to be told, and you are good enough to tell that story. All right. Are we still together? Are we still together? Please let me know in the comments. Are you still with me? Are you here? Are you here with me? Let me check. Okay, okay. I can see your responses. All right. Thank you so much. I want to be sure that you guys are following. So, I want to talk about the things that make your story a solid king. You know that there are different kinds of kings. We have feeble kings, we have strong kings. So we're saying that story is king. So what makes your story solid? What gives your story that rereading value or that rewatching value? Why is it that some people watch some films and they want to watch it over and over and over again? I mean, sometimes I randomly go to the comment section of the scripts I've written just to see people's comments. And I was there yesterday again for two of those films. I think one I'd written over a year ago, and the second one I wrote 10 months ago. And in the comment section, I saw somebody saying that they've watched this film over and over, and that they still came back to watch the film. So why is it that people always go back to watch some film? And there's some films when you just start, you're like, "Ah, what's going on here?" You don't even want to watch it to the end. What is that difference? What is that unique thing or uniqueness that makes that a possibility, right? And that's what I want to share with you. So, number one thing is that you need to realize that the purpose of your story, let me sit up. The purpose of your story is to evoke emotions. You guys, the purpose of your story is to evoke emotion. When people are reading your story, I'm saying reading and I'm saying watching because I know we have both writers, like story writers, and also film writers here. So I'm trying to balance it, right? So when people are watching your film or they are rereading your story, you don't just want them to be smiling, you want them to grin. Don't want them to just laugh, you want them to chuckle. You don't want them to just shed a tear, you want them to sob, you want them to cry. That is how you know that this is a film. And that is what you need to be conscious of. When you're writing that scene, You need to picture yourself. Okay, what emotion? Beyond the fact that this scene is driving this story forward or this paragraph is moving the story forward, beyond that, what emotion is this scene going to evoke? Do I want the audience to cry? Do I want the audience to be sighing deeply? Do I want them to frown? Do I want them to be curious? What emotion am I trying to bring out? Because let me tell you, your scenes cannot afford to be flat. Your paragraphs cannot afford to be flat. They have to carry emotion. It is important. It is very, very important. Long time ago, years back, I don't know if you guys watched it, but years back, when the film The Passion of the Christ came out, almost, it's not even almost everywhere. I think everywhere that film was played, people were crying. Like people were crying. Why were they crying? It was because of the way the story was told. I mean, it was a story that we all know. I mean, even though even if you're not a Christian, you must have heard it that, oh, um Jesus Christ was beaten, he was flogged, his body was torn, and then they put him on a cross, and then he was hung. So it's not like it's a story that we've not heard before. But when they made it into a film, people were watching it and they were still crying. Why? Because the writers, the producers, the directors, they wanted to evoke emotion. They wanted you to to watch that film, and when you go, you're thinking about your life. Do you get? That's why when some people watched Odogu Parara, when they watched Love in Every Word, they went back to their homes. I heard some people started confronting their husbands and their boyfriends and their fiancés, saying, can't you be like Odogu? Can't you up your game? You need to do better. Why did that happen? And emotion happened. I mean, people watched Love in Every Word and ladies started selling perfumes. It almost became a pandemic on Instagram. Everywhere you turn, you see ladies say they're selling perfumes. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but I just want you to realize how powerful a story can be. In fact, a lot of ladies became so conscious of their femininity. Anywhere you turn, you see people saying, "Oh, I want to be soft spoken like Bam Bam. I want to learn how to be feminine. I want to be this. I want to be that. I want to." It was That's how powerful a story is. A story can drive a narrative that sometimes a sermon or even a motivational video will not be able to drive. A motivational video, if imagine a motivational speaker can come online and start saying, "Oh, you ladies, you need to be feminine." No, a number of people might not listen to her, but because it was put in a story, people took it seriously. And that is why the stories you tell, you need to be conscious of the narrative you are selling. If you know that this narrative is something that you don't want to push, then don't tell it as a story. It's very, very, very important. We need to be careful the kind of stories that we tell because people take stories seriously, very seriously. All right. So quickly, I want to dive into the 4 P's of storytelling. The 4 P's of storytelling. What are the 4 P's of storytelling? Very simple. People, place, plot, and purpose. For people, place, plot, and purpose. So, first of all, when you're telling a story, you need the people in your story. And by people, I always say this: your characters have to be authentic, relatable, and memorable. Authentic, relatable, memorable. Authentic, relatable, memorable. Can somebody type that for me in the comments? I want to see if I can pin it. Authentic, relatable, and memorable. Whatever character you are talking about in your story, I want your characters to be authentic. Like very, very authentic. Thank you so much, Ivy. Your characters have to be authentic. I cannot say this I cannot overflow this. Let your characters be authentic. Let me see if I can pin this. Can I? I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, yeah, I can. Yeah. Which message did I pin? Yep. Okay. I want to pin this. Okay. Yes, I got it. So your characters have to be authentic, relatable, and memorable. Firstly, what do you mean by a character being authentic? You say your character is, let me think. Okay, let me use Lagos. Let's say your character lives in Ajegunle. So for those of you that don't know where Ajegunle is like a very like a slum area in Lagos, Nigeria. Now your character lives in Ajegunle, and then according to you, this character, she wears Louboutins, or if he's a guy, he wears a suit. Now I'm not saying that there are people that don't wear suits in Ajegunle, of course not. But there is something characteristic about people that live in that area, the way they speak, the kind of food they eat. So if I see a character that lives in Ajegunle that he's wearing a suit, but instead of him going to an eatery like Chicken Republic, instead he goes to Yabasira's stall down the road and he orders for a plate of bread and beans. Now that is an authentic character. That is a relatable character, and that's also memorable. But it's especially relatable because anyone that lives in Adekunle knows that, oh, this is how we behave, oh, on this side of town. We may wear suits, we may use our ties, but this is how we buy food. We don't eat. I mean, some places where people are still being served food in nylons. There are places where people are being served food in leaves. You get what I'm saying? There's some places you get to, you don't eat swallow with your cutlery, you eat swallow with your fingers. It's normal, it's relatable, it's authentic, and it's memorable. People would remember that more than something that is just random. So you need to, when you're creating your characters, you need to be very, very conscious of that. Very, very important. Then I want to go to place. Now when we say place, many times when people say place, people are always thinking in a vague perspective. Your place cannot be vague. Oh. You can't just say Lagos. Where in Lagos? You can't just say Abuja. Where in Abuja? You can't just say um Kenya. Where in Kenya? Where exactly? You can't just say Ireland. Where in Ireland? Where? Imagine you say Lagos. Okay, where in Lagos? The mainland or island? Okay, if it's island, where on the island? On the island, no shades to those that stay on the island, but when you say island, there are different places on the island. There's Agungi, there's Aja, there's Lakoe, there's Victoria Island, there's Lekki Phase 1. So where? If you say Third Milan Bridge, why does that scene have to happen on the Third Milan Bridge? Can't it happen on another bridge in Lagos? Do you understand me? So every time you're writing a story, the place where your story takes place is very consequential to the story. Very consequential. I don't like when I watch films and then somebody's in the kitchen and they're not doing anything in the kitchen. Why? You don't necessarily have to put them in the kitchen and say that they are cooking. They don't have to. Whenever you go to your kitchen, do you only go to your kitchen to cook? Do you only go to your kitchen to cook? You may go to your kitchen to get water from the fridge, right? You may go to your kitchen to wash your hands. You may go to the kitchen to take inventory of what you have in your stock. You know, you may go to the kitchen to check your what's it called, your menu, your meal for the next day. So when you're writing a scene and you're putting that someone is in the kitchen, why are they in the kitchen? Why is that scene happening in the kitchen? Why is that paragraph being written in the kitchen? State why. Let us see it. That's why place is consequential to your story. So you are not just writing a place and the girl is walking on the street. Why is she walking on the streets? Why can't we put that scene in a parlor? If she's walking on the streets, there should be a reason why. Something has to happen. I was sharing with those in the mentorship class that I was writing a script recently and I wanted to show that the girl was walking down the road. But I did not just want it to be an additional scene. So what did I do? I have to introduce a prerogative where the antagonist was trying to kill her, and then she nearly gets hit by his car. It was intentional. I could have just said, oh, the girl was in her house and then she was suspecting that somebody was trying to kill her. But because I wanted it to hit home, I brought it to the streets, which is very realistic and also relatable to the story I was writing at the time. So you have to be very, very cautious of that. Then the next thing is the plot. There are many ways to define the plot of your story, but the core way or the core thing is that your plot is the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story. That's really what plot is about. That's really what plot is about, right? And I like to say that many times people have some people they have a solid start, while some people have like a solid end. But you see that middle, I've seen a lot of writers. Okay, I'm trying to check my charts. Okay, we're good. So I've seen a lot of people struggle with the middle of the story. And let me tell you people something. Like I always tell my writers, I'm not going to tell you not to learn the rules of storytelling. It's great to know all of the rules. I know, but I know someone that knows all the rules in her head. I'm not like that. To me, I don't know all the rules in my head. But what I do know is I know how to plot a proper story. See, this thing I'm saying is very important. You need to know how to plot your story. You need to know what happens in the beginning of your story, in the middle of your story, and at the end of your story. These three things have to be properly defined. They have to be properly defined. So at the beginning of your story, where your character, your protagonist is introduced in their normal, then immediately the disruption happens. Your middle has started. Now, your middle consists of how your protagonist faces their conflicts. So once the conflict starts, once the wahala starts, your protagonist is set on a series of events that help them evolve. So if the story is going to end on a sad note, you already know that your character is evolving to becoming maybe a bad person or a weaker person. But if your story is going to end, with a happy ending, your character is going to evolve all through the conflict to become a victor, because they won. But imagine you don't know the beginning of the story, you don't know the middle, you don't know the end. You will just the detail you are supposed to put at the end, you go and put it at the beginning. The detail you are supposed to put at the middle, you go and put it at the end. The one you're supposed to put in the at the beginning, you go and put it in the middle. I've seen writers make that mistake over and over, and I will not lie. It's tiring. It's actually tiring. That's another reason why I'm intentionally mentoring, this my new set of writers, because I need you to understand how plotting works. There's a way you pace your story that even you will be pleased. Your inspiration, it will be flowing. It will be flowing easily. You will be able to write your story because you know what is happening here. You know what is happening there. You know what is happening at the ending. So I mean, I don't like to. I don't. I'm going to try to cover this up, but the story I'm currently, reworking. There's a part of the story that the writer was meant to put at the end of the story. Like it's supposed to be a revelation. When people see it, people say, "Oh, no wonder this happened, no wonder this happened." And then you know what? This writer put the revelation at the beginning of the story as a flashback, and I'm like, "Nah, you don't do that." Because now you have put the story at the and put this revelation at the beginning as a flashback. I already know I already know how the story is going to end. Like from this page 6, I know that this is what's going to happen. And you've ruined it. You've ruined the experience. The journey of emotion that's supposed to happen to the person that's watching it, that's supposed to say, they're supposed to be questioning that what's going on? Why is this person doing this? Why is this person acting this way? What's going on? What's this? What's that? What's that? And then when you now get to that end, they'll say, "Oh, no wonder." Then they now understand, and then the ending, just there's a proper resolution, and then they are immersed in the whole experience of the story. The writer has removed that. So don't do that to your audience. Don't do that to your audience. You need to have a proper plot. That's why I'm saying that you can know all the rules of story plot, but if you don't know where your beginning is, where your middle is, and where your end is, you don't know how to write a story. I'm not even trying to be harsh. It's the truth. You don't know how to write a story. You don't. So learn it, understand it, and you can learn from me if you want to. Anyways, you can learn it. For those that have read my scripts, those in the comments have read my, you see how I write. From the beginning, you will be curious. You want to know, how is this going to end? And the middle, my middle, most of the time for me, my middle starts from either page 5 or page 10 to about page 50. So that's where all of the gbas happens, right? So by the time you get to the end, the last, maybe last 10 pages or the last 15 pages or the last 20 pages, depending on the genre I'm writing, you now understand the reason for everything that happened from page 1 to page 50, because that's the beginning and the middle, the setup and the conflict establishment. There's a whole lot to say, but it's not for this class. All right. Finally, the fourth P, right? I've talked about people, place, and plot. So I want to talk about purpose, right? So your purpose of your story, what are you trying to do with your story? Yes, the 80% of the time, story is to entertain. But beyond entertaining, are you trying to pass a message across? Are you trying to enlighten your audience? Are you trying to teach them something new? Are you trying to sell a narrative? So you need to have a purpose behind your story, because sometimes your purpose is what determines how the story ends. In fact, a lot of the time, your purpose is what determines how the story ends. You can write a story that is 98% entertaining, but in a way, people will still get the underlying message. People will still get the underlying message. I mean, um, a lot of people watch Aunt Kemi's film To Kill a Monkey, and I've seen different interpretations of that film, of what people seemingly say that the film means to them. And I've seen the one that resonated strongly with Aunt Kim and she said, yes, this is the message I'm trying to pass across. So you need, if you that you're writing the story, you don't even know the message you're trying to pass across. What would the audience do? You say, and I just want to write a story. No. Why? If it's purely entertainment, there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to know the why. I mean, comedians that write script for their comedy. I'm going to use Taoma as an example. I like Taoma's comedy a whole lot, right? In as much as Taoma is doing, she does this comedy skits, and apart from the ones that she does for companies, as adverts, a lot of the time she's passing a message, right? I've seen her do skits on recycling, on domestic violence, on harassment and all of that kind of stuff. So she is intentional about what she does. So you need to have a meaning, even though it's comedy. You can use it for the right cause, if you get what I mean. Okay, so um I want to stop here. And please, I want to say, if you're not following me on Instagram, I don't know why. I don't know why you're not following me on Instagram, because I mean, I share a whole lot there. I share about my journey, and if opportunities, I'm always posting opportunities on my stories, so you don't want to miss out on that. Then, if you're not subscribed here, just send me your address so that I'll come and arrest you. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. So I want to give room for questions, please. Questions. If you have any question, just drop it in the comments right now. I want to, yeah, I want to I want to answer your questions. So tell me, what questions do you have? Are you guys still here? So okay, no, let's make it fast. If you have a question, drop it in the chat. If you don't have a question, let me know what you have learned so far today. Let me know what you've learned so far today. Like, of all the things I said, what's what stood out the most for you? I want to be sure that you got value from today's class. Right. I want to be sure. So what did you learn from today's class? And if you're done saying that, tell me. If you have a question, drop it in the comments. I'm going to answer it right away. and we have like 15 minutes ish before this live is over. So let me use it for you. So if you have any question, you've been meaning to ask me a question, ask me now. So while I'm waiting for your questions and what you learned from today's class, I want to say again that our October class has started. I mean, it's oh god. I know it feels like I'm bragging, but I need to say this. I'm proud of the crop of writers in this current batch because I know that they are going to shake the world. I'm not even capping. I mean I recently got a nomination. Some of you already know. I got a film I wrote. It got a nomination at the Universal Film Festival 2025. And in case you don't know, UFF is one of the top, I think top 20 or top 100 film festivals in the world. So it's not a small something. And my film was not just the was the only Nigerian film and also the only African film to get a nomination at the festival. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So you guys, I'm not teaching you what I've not practiced. I've practiced it and it has worked for me. And I want you to do same. I want you to follow my lead. Right. Okay. Ivy says strive for excellence, not perfection. Yes, yes. Strive for excellence, not perfection. Kariba, I really hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I like to pronounce people's name correctly. Karibat says, I learned not to self sabotage myself. Yes, please don't self sabotage yourself. Your story is good enough to be told, and you are good enough to tell your story. Don't wait for the perfect platform. Even if it's your WhatsApp status or your Instagram or your TikTok, start telling your stories. The world is a global village, and somebody out there would love your story. I'm telling you. Faithful says having a good plot makes a good story. Yes, very, very important. You can follow all, you can cram all the rules in your head, but if you don't have a good plot, you don't have a good story. You don't have a story that has rewatch value or rereading value. And you need stories like that. In fact, we need stories like that. Whenever people are complaining that it's the same story that are being recycled over and over, yada yada yada. And I'm like, it's not about whether the story is being recycled, it's about the plots. Love stories are boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl, they live happily ever after. It's a trope. But people keep telling the same story, but they tell it from a unique perspective. That is why you watch it. Yeah. Ivy, thank you. Ivy says, congratulations. Thank you so much. Sharon says, I learned that the story must evoke emotions. Yes, very important. Your story has to evoke emotions. That's the goal. Needs to evoke emotions, deep emotions. Okay, Faithful has a question. She says, so I want to ask, how did you break into the industry? Sometimes you pitch your story to a filmmaker and the response you get is you are still a newbie. Okay. As to how I broke into the industry, I think I have a video on this channel where I explain how I got into Nollywood. So maybe you want to go and watch that video. You should watch it actually, and the others if you haven't. But I also want to say that when you pitch your story to a filmmaker, okay, let me use myself as an example. There's a particular producer I work with right now. I'm not even trying to brag. She's constantly in my DM that she wants me to write for her. This same producer, when I started writing, I pitched to her. The first time I pitched to her, she was like, I knew the whole was because I mean I did not have a lot of scripts to my name at the time. I think I just had one script to my name safe. I think it was just one. So there was this she was just, so I didn't say anything. Then the second time I pitched to her, but it wasn't me that pitched to her the second time. It was an actor friend of mine. I don't know if I should mention her name, but she's popular now. Back then, she was also not popular, right? But she's popular now. She knew I was a writer, and she had seen a script I had written, and she loved the script. So she pitched me to this producer, and the producer was like, "I've seen her, but I don't know." It was just beating about the bush. Now, what really made this particular producer come back to me, and I'm being honest, I'm not even trying to say this because I'm trying to impress you or anything, was when my coach, because I told you guys, I actually registered for Coach Doris. After I finished my course with Coach Doris, I think she went to Coach Doris to write for her, and Coach Doris said she was not available. So Coach Doris now recommended me. So by the time Coach Doris recommended me, I felt like she felt, the first time I was recommended, she didn't think I was a big deal. The second time, and this is the third time. So the third time, she was like, okay, let me just give you a trial. It was that, in fact, the amount she paid me was ridiculously low at the time. But I did it, right? And today, today, she's the one in my DM begging me to write for her. So my point is, you cannot just give up. If somebody says you are a newbie, they're not lying. You're a newbie. You are a newbie. The way you escape the zone of being a newbie is by you showing up continuously. Let me tell you something. It's not all producers that are looking for established writers. Let me even give you people one inside gist. You see all these our established writers in Hollywood, they are very busy. They don't have time. They are booked. I know some writers that they are booked for the whole of next year. So if any producer should go and meet them now and say, "Oh, please, oh, I want you to write for me," they'll tell them, "Ma, I'm booked." Oh, imagine somebody pays you to write for them for the whole of next year. Will you collect another gig? Unless maybe you're a superwoman, sha, or a superman. They are booked. So some producers are not even looking for established writers because most of the established writers are booked. They're looking for people that know story, and you need to impress them. Some of us, you are waiting. Some of you are waiting for the perfect moment, or you are waiting to work with someone like Ruth Kadiri or Omoni Oboli. If a producer that you don't even know recommends you, I mean, comes to your DM, write for them. Okay, let me give. There was one producer that earlier that in my early stage that asked me to write for her. I'm actually being very honest. I think this particular was my first feature length deal. So this was the first script before the one I had with Coach Doris, before I registered with Coach Doris. That was my first feature film. And this producer is not so popular. Even back then, even now she's not so popular, but she's trying, right? And I wrote the script for her. She loved my script, but it wasn't just her that loved my script. One of the actors that acted in that film, it wasn't even the lead character. It was a supporting character. I don't even think that guy had up to 10 scenes, maybe like 5 scenes. If it's even up to, I don't even think it's up to 5, but let's just say 10 scenes. But the guy said that when he read the script, he said that when he read it, he was like, "Who is this writer?" He came to look for me on Instagram. He said that he has never read a script like that before. Do you know that this guy, even though he was a supporting character on this particular project, I had no idea that this guy was going to jump on another film with RMD. Yes, this same RMD. Now, let me blow you people's mind. When he would go to set, he started talking about me. That's how I know the favor of God works, right? But you also need to be prepared. He went to the sets, where they were producing for RMD, and started talking about me. I don't know what led to the conversation because I was not there. But he was talking, so I was like, there's this person that wrote this script. This person is so good. She's a good writer. She's this, is that. I've never read any script like this. And he kept talking and talking. And then the director that said was like, who is this writer that you're even saying? They mentioned my name. He said, he has not heard of this person before, but the way you are talking about her, send me her contacts. So he messaged me on Instagram, like I said. I sent him my WhatsApp contact. He gave my number to the director. Director called me and he said, that's this so and so actor just kept talking about you. Where do you people know each other from? I just laughed because I have not met him before. He just read my script and he loved it because he knew it was a beautiful story, right? And I was just laughing. I was like, he's a friend. I Of course I couldn't say I don't know him before because that would be awkward. I was like, oh, he's a friend. He's like, oh, nice. That this guy said you are so good. Okay, send me a short script that you have written. And back then, you guys, I used to write a lot of spec scripts. A spec script is a script that nobody sends you a message to write, but you are writing it and you keep it. So I just went to one of my spec scripts and I screenshot like 2 pages. I sent to him. The man read it. He was like, wow. He said, you wrote this? I said, of course I did. He said, are you serious? I said, yes. He said, wow, this is very, very nice. That he loved my dialogues. That it's not even about the story, like it's about the dialogue. And that he can already see that he wants to read the rest of the script. That's okay, no problem. And this director signed me for two projects. These two projects, it wasn't even for RMD, it was for somebody else that I cannot disclose because I have signed an NDA for two projects. Those projects are not even out yet. And that was how. So you are a newbie, you are a newbie, you are a newbie. You don't want to just, if one producer rejects you, I think the mistake many people make is that once a producer says no, you just I'm a newbie, such is life, and you just stay. No, keep showing up, keep writing those scripts, keep putting it on your status, on your timeline, on your feed that you are a writer. Keep talking about your work. I'm telling you, the person that you do not expect is the person that is going to message you. I'm not even joking. But there's some names that message me in my DM. Even me, I will be shocked. I'm like, how did this person stumble upon my Instagram page? Like, from where to where? How? Because these guys are not even following me. So how did they? So maybe somebody that knows somebody has mentioned my name in their ears, because this filmmaking world is a small world. People are always is gossip in quotes, but people are always talking about somebody. This writer, this actor, this producer, this director. People are always carrying gist. So somehow your name will pop up. So, but you need to be there. You need to show up. You need to show up. As I always encourage, see, don't just, you say you're a scriptwriter, you're a storyteller. I go to your feed. I'm not seeing any story there. So how are you a storyteller? How? You say you're a scriptwriter. I'm not seeing any sign. See, it's not even by, even if you don't have your personal script, you can dissect people's scripts. You can say, oh, I read so and so scripts, and then you give like a breakdown. This is character. I watched To Kill a Monkey. This is the character bible for To Kill a Monkey. What are you doing? You are selling yourself. You're selling yourself directly or indirectly. So, in I think the the summary of everything I'm saying is, don't just give up because you say you are a newbie. The only way a newbie will become a pro is by showing up every single time. So keep showing up, keep writing, keep posting, keep pitching. I'm telling you, one day you will see. Final example I want to give you people. That's why I always tell people to go to events. Go to events. One of my friends, a writer friend, her first gig, I think it's not even I think that project, I think is on, I think, is it DSTV? I think it's on DSTV. I can't remember the name right now that I've mentioned it. But if you guys might have watched it, it was a series, an office series that this lady did. Adako of Jennifer, I don't know, Omotunde David. That series she did, it was written by my friend. How did my friend get the gig? If I tell you, people will not believe. She just was in the right, she went for a filmmaking event, and then somebody just randomly say, are they find writer? Oh, I'm looking for a writer. Oh. And she's like, oh, I'm a writer. Oh. That was how it happened. They don't know themselves from anywhere. I'm not even joking. They've never met before. They just saw themselves in that event, and she said, I'm looking for a writer. And she said, I'm a writer. Give me your number. And she got the deal. Just like that. No connection. On a normal day, where do you want to see Adako? On the road. So, but you have to, when you show up at the right places and in the right spaces, not just even physical, even online. Go when these people post. Auntie Kemi posted her film. You want to work with Auntie Kemi, you will not comment. Some of you say you want to work with Omoni Oboli. Omoni Oboli posted film. You do not leave comments. You just watch the film and you sit down in your house. No, leave a comment. Leave a comment from the perspective of a writer. Oh, I just hello ma or hello queen. I just watched your movie, short and sweet. this character, this character, this character, this. As a screenwriter myself, I understand this, that. See, I don't want to share all this secret because I think I'm going to tell my this is my mentorship community, but I think just give people this hint. You say and say and say, by the time you are done, full stop. Even if Auntie Omonoboli does not see it, somebody that is a producer or a filmmaker that does not have the money to pay Jemima, but has the money to pay you, will see your comment and will be impressed. And they will come into your DM and say, "Ah, I saw the comment you left on Omoni Oboli. You sound like someone that is intelligent. I think I want to work with you. Do you have any script you want to sell?" And that is it. You'll become a name in the industry. All right. I'm going to stop here. Any other question? I'm guessing none because I feel like I've been looking at it stylishly to see if any other person was going to drop a question, but no question. So, well, yeah. Faithful, please confirm that I answered your question. Did I answer your question? Are you satisfied? Able with me. People have gone to bed. Faithful, did I answer your question? All right. Thank you so much everyone for coming today. Um, I'm really happy that we had this class, albeit a short class, but yeah, I feel like it was worth it. So I'm sure gotten value, and like I said, doors to October is open. So if you have not registered, slide into my DM. If you leave a comment here, I will reply you. But you can slide into my DM, or just go to Jemima the writer, no space in between. Same name as this channel on Instagram. You'll see a link in my bio. Click there and you'll be able to sign up. Or you send me a DM, I'll send you the details so that you can learn a whole lot more and you can benefit from this community and all of the other knowledge I have to share with you, because a class is not one class is not enough to give you all of the information that you need. So yeah. All right, people said I answered that question. Amazing. Precious says this has been a very insightful session. I'm happy to hear that. You're welcome. You're very, very much welcome. God bless you all. All right, enjoy the rest of your night. This is where we draw the curtain today. So, nice night, everyone. Bye.